Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new weekly painting, and this time I want to talk about sub-assemblies. So what you have here in front are all the parts of the Imperial Knight that I'm painting now, and as you can see, everything is it's in small parts, some bigger than others. So when I approach a mirror that is quite complex, like this one, where we have the part that is like the skeleton, no, the skeleton of the knight with all these metal parts, and then we have all the different armor plates and weapons and arms, legs, and so on. What I try to do is I approach this by parts. So when I start assembling the knight, I don't assemble all the parts together. I just do the blocks that I think are interesting. If you have seen some weeks ago when I was explaining how to do base coating of silver using spray painting on spray or spray aerosol, how I was showing how to mask. One of the things that was also important is how you divide the parts. And normally to help and facilitate and make it faster the paint job on the knights, I divide depending on the color, on the predominant color that I'm going to have. As you can see, the legs and the main body are all on metallics, okay? So I did the base coating directly on metallics, on this type of iron silver color. On the other side, the parts that are more like armor plates, like or the capras and all these type of parts, they are not assembled. In that way, I was able to paint and to prime coat them apart, so I can go faster, and I'm not concerned that when I'm painting this part, I can dirten this part, so I can paint them separately. The trick here is first to study how the metal will look like, and you can see I keep all the armor plates, because the armor plates can be assembled in any moment, right? So this goes just on top of the knee, so you can assemble this here. Other tip I'm using, and this is to help to handle the miniatures and to help to do the paint job, is I keep part of the sprue connected to the piece. It's a way to handle, especially for example this one, okay? But you have to think how you are going to do that, okay? In that case, for example, the only union to the sprue, or the only joint to the sprue that I keep is the bottom one, for two reasons. First, when I cut that, it's going to be very easy to clean up, to clean this, okay? It's going to be quite easy to make it look good, to remove the sprue connection. And then on the other side is at the bottom of the leg, so it's one of the less visible parts of the armor plates. The same on all the other ones, so you have to study, even in these ones, okay? I will cut this later on, but then I will redo the purple here, okay? So this really I think how I'm going to do that, and I'm thinking the only thing that I have the arms, I prefer to have them assembled and together. So I really recommend when you approach a complex method, one of the first things to think is how you will do your sub-assemblies and how you are going to work them. For example, painting, gluing this, the standard, it can be quite a pain if this is assembled to be able to do freehand here. But manipulating this, do the freehand on this part, and later on doing the eagles after separating this from the sprue, it's much easier than if you have to paint everything glued. And to be fair, this part, if you want to play, okay, imagine that you are a person that you want to use this miniature. It's not that difficult in the case of the knight. So you can always put the arms. Okay, the arms are just put like a bayonet type of connection. Okay, it's you do like that, and then the arms are connected. And now I have more or less the size, and I can put the capars on top. Okay. I will not put it to the bottom, but you can put it, and you can play with that. Okay, it's not going to be the most stable thing, but it's playable. I will not glue the shoulder pads. If you want to put the shoulder pads, a little bit of glue tack on these parts, and you connect the shoulder pads there. Are not going to be stable because the connections to the shoulder pads are the most tricky ones. But as you can see, you can play, and once you have finished the game, you can disassemble and keep working on your paint job. Okay. So I highly recommend to use sub-assemblies when painting difficult miniatures. So as you can see, quite easy to manipulate, and then you can remove the arms quite easily as well. Okay. So these are going to be mainly my advices here. As you can see, you can work quite far the shoulder pads. You can put the decals. This is still work in progress, of course, but you can work that, and you can see how this will look like once it's assembled. This is why I keep them together, because it's much easier for me to manipulate, to look and to imagine how it will look like. It's very important when you are doing the different parts to put them together to see how everything will look like once you will assemble everything, right? So we have this one and we have this one. I know that these two legs, these two armor plates will go one next to each other. Then I have these ones here that will go to the top, okay? And then I need to put the knee protections. This is going to be most likely like that, so in that way I break the pattern. So I can go light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. So this is the ways, and then I will have this that will change the position. So you can see the composition. I don't think this is a problem. You can always, with more experience, you can see, have better look how this will look like. For example, these two parts will have the light and dark on the same side, and although in the legs I alternate. So yeah, what I want to say here is use sub-assemblies, and as well try to look how they will look like together. So the only risk on painting by sub-assemblies is that some parts that are covered you dedicate to a lot of time. So always try to see how everything will be will look like when everything is put together. But yeah, looking at painting difficult miniatures, Knights, Mortarion, Stardewake, Magnus, all these miniatures, even Lehman Rules. I do the housing, but then I do the sponsor and the turret apart. The Land Rider can be the exception. You will do the weapons without the gluing before on the Land Rider, but it's like a box. Okay, the tanks are different because they are like a box, most of them. So this is easier to do it assembled, and then you do the weapons separately. But for example, the Vendetta, the other one, I forgot, no, the Storm Ribbon. All this, I try to do it by parts. It's much easier to manipulate. It's much easier to handle. Imagine if you have all this together. It's going to be a big miniature to handle easily. The Magnus, for example, with the wings, difficult. It's much easier to paint the wings before gluing. The same for the Stardewake. The Cavalry, try to paint the riders and the horses separately and glue it at the end. Always when you are facing a miniature, try to think how to make your life easier in the terms of painting. The other miniatures that I also do by sub-assemblies are the standard soldiers when they have the weapon across the front. So this is going to make also more difficult to paint in that area. So I prefer to paint the weapons separately from the body. But yeah, in that case, that is really a big a complex miniature. So I just as a summary, so you can see here the parts: legs, main body, caparas, the two arms, and then all the armor plates separately. I also have the dorsal weapon separate, the shield also is separated from the main body, and the reason is I want to be able to be easy to reach the shield, and the machine gun or the stabber is also not glued. And as you can see, I'm using is sub-assembled, so I have all the parts. The only thing is I will need, and then the thing that you have to be careful not to lose is this part. Okay, this is how to glue. This is what is putting together in the caparas, the shield and the stubber. And then one thing that maybe you will glue it or not, I also paint separately all the purity sigils, so in that way it's much easier to paint them and faster. So yeah, it's something that by experience you will know better how to subdivide, but these are the divisions I will recommend you when you are painting a knight. Much more easier to do the metallics without any armor plate on front, much easier to do the armor plates when they are small, much easier to reach all the parts and do the freehand. It's helping a lot. And then keep the arms separate, keep the weapons separate, and you will see that your life is much easier if you need to paint a knight. So in this weekly, sub-assemblies, and especially dedicated what are the sub-assemblies I recommend for the Imperial Knight. That's all for now. I hope you like this. Please comment, subscribe if not subscribe it. I will put more videos and more tips about how I face the painting of the knights. And I hope you like here what you see. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye!